let's do that. Hold on. How the fuck do you open this goddamn?
Remember, hey, good grip.
Okay, good grip.
Squeeze and pop at the same time.
Can you open this for?
Yeah.
Hey, while we're doing this, welcome back to the Side Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Deanda, and I'm here with my boy, Nick Campbell. Right now, we're trying to open up a beer with a set of pliers. Please ignore everything that you're seeing right now. You hear that? That means the show's officially on. What's up, Nick?
What's going on, Kevin?
Thanks for that. Oh, man, long day. Christ almighty, I just dropped my lime on the couch. Everything's going wrong right now, guys. Dang, man. So how you been?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
Good, thanks for asking. You never seen this before?
Yes, I have.
Turn my beer upside down. Put a lime in it. It's getting real Mexican up in here. So, as it being your first time on this episode, go ahead and introduce yourself to pretty much everybody.
Well, my name's Nick, 22.
Dope. It's okay. You don't got to be nervous, dude. It's just like a conversation. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry,
right.
I didn't know where to go with that, you know.
Yeah. Don't worry. Oh, dude.
What we got today?
I mean, we got an assortment of things. I actually want to talk about coming over here to your house. Dude, people in this state do not know how to drive.
No, that's big facts.
That's
right there.
big facts, dude. I was driving over here. I mean, obviously, there's only like one really main road, and there's not like double lanes or anything.
Yeah.
This dude tailed me for like 4 miles, and he was just riding my ass the entire
real?
time. And he was in a huge truck because apparently, like, big trucks are the thing over here in this state. Dude, I couldn't even see this man's face. I don't even know if this guy knew who I was. He was just riding me so hard, and not that way.
Yeah. I didn't take it that way, but
Yeah. Anyway, so I was getting ridden pretty hard by a dude on my way over here. And it was just stressing me out.
nah, man. A couple months ago, my car got hit 3 times in like 10 days, and it's like, come on, man.
I remember that. Yeah, your car you got hit, and then the next day you came in and told me you got hit again. And then a few days later, you told me you got hit again. That was awesome. Yeah, that's pretty terrible.
Got her all fixed up, though.
All right, Nick, so we're going to lead off this podcast, and we're going to start playing a game that I kind of invented myself, I guess. It's called Hit or Miss.
All right.
All right? So I'm just going to give you a list of topics, and if you feel like you have one, you can throw me a topic, and you're just going to tell me if it hits or if it misses. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Hits as in I can
Like,
relate? Or...
Yeah, it relates or that slaps. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
If you're all about it or if you're not all about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's lead it off with this. This is actually kind of important to me. Hit or miss? Cream soda.
It's a miss for me, man.
Are you serious? Dude,
Yeah.
cream soda, I grew up on that stuff.
For real.
Yeah, that's like some of the best stuff ever. I don't get why people don't like it.
Is that anything like a creamsicle?
What? A cream what? No, I guess. I don't know. What's a creamsicle taste like?
I'm pretty sure it's a popsicle that's flavored as like a cream soda. Pretty sure.
I don't even know. I don't think I've ever had a creamsicle. I've definitely had, like, cream soda is like, it's like root beer, but lighter. Like, it tastes like vanilla.
Okay, maybe I've never had one of them.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like a vanilla root beer. It's like the easiest way to say it. You don't like it, though?
I've had, like I said, a creamsicle, but I've never had a cream soda.
All right. I guess we'll have to put you on to cream soda.
So I'm going to have to say a miss on that one.
Okay, hard miss. All right, sushi, hit or miss?
That's a big time miss.
Are you serious? That's 2-0. You're 2-0 with the
Yes,
misses
sir.
right now. Tell me why you don't like sushi. Are you just one of those people who doesn't like raw fish?
For me, yeah, it's fish. I don't like it raw. I'm not even like a big cooked fish person. I'm very picky about it. So there is some fishes I really like.
Like what? What would you eat, but you won't eat sushi?
It's just got to be cooked, really. I mean, yeah, if it's not cooked, then I don't know. I think it's more of a mental thing. I bet you is what it is.
Well, there is cooked sushi. Like there's certain ones. I even went to this bar over in Raleigh, and they have like a sushi conveyor belt, and one of them was like seaweed with white rice, and then inside of it was a fried banana, and it had nothing to do with fish, but it was sushi. It was actually like, yeah, I'll tell you that right there, that hit. I'm telling you, you got to come out with me for some sushi. I'll put you on the sushi train. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll make sure that hits. All right. I feel like you're gonna say hit to this. Hit or miss, relish.
Relish?
I feel like you're a guy who likes relish.
Dude, I am the last person that likes relish.
Are you serious?
It's another miss,
dude.
Man.
I'm actually glad you said that. I don't get it. What is relish?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Is it like chopped up onions?
It looks like chopped up pickles, but it smells like onions.
Yeah, it scares me.
And like people will like put it in like a bowl, and then they'll just like give it out to people, and like they put it on their chips, and then some asshole had the great idea to put it in like a ketchup bottle. Now they sell like Heinz relish.
It creeps me out just looking at it.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It looks like they just pulled like seaweed out of a swamp and put it in there.
'Cause you know how I am with onions. If it relates to onions, not for me.
Yeah, that stuff's disgusting. So if you like relish, please comment and at least tell us what it is. Because I have zero idea.
And also comment what kind of beer you think Kevin's drinking.
All right, I'll just put it like this. It relates to me, but I don't think you'll ever guess it. All right. Hit or miss musicals.
Man, I've never really been to like a big one or like a good one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've only been to like the ones you got in high school or
like
whatever it is, so.
Not like a high school musical.
Yeah.
Did you watch High School Musical?
Yeah, I did. That stuff was lit back in the day.
So that hits?
I'd say yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'll tell you what. You ever seen the movie Stomp?
Stomped? What's that? I've seen Stomp the Yard.
You ever seen Stomp? Like, it's like a musical, but they got like the broomsticks and they're stomping on the ground and they're dancing.
Oh, like the chimney sweepers or whatever, right? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
And they're up on stage doing
Where
kinds
the
of craziness.
hell did you watch that at?
I watched it in like music class one time, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it was like a recorded one, or like did you actually go to the performance?
No, it was a recorded one.
I think I've seen like other shows like either not make fun of it, but like replicate it.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it slaps. It's a bunch of like little British, like chimney sweeps. I guess if that's what you're into. I guess musicals hit. I don't know. I've actually talked about this on one of the episodes with Anson. I don't like musicals just because like everybody knows what's going on. Like if I could walk up to a random person and start singing for some reason, like that person knows exactly what I'm talking about. And that just like freaks me out to live in a world where everyone knows like a specific song to a specific feeling.
Yeah.
That kind of just like throws me off. All right. It's going to get a little bit deeper here.
All right.
Hit or miss. Toes.
Oh boy. Oh man. You know, that one's a touchy one, man. Like, I'm like indifferent. You know what I mean?
Indifferent okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. What about feet? Maybe not. Well, I mean, I guess toes are like when I think about feet.
They gotta
not
be,
saying I think about feet,
yeah.
but when I do, I think toes. So toes are like the thing to go to.
Hey, they gotta be clean. And they gotta be done. You know what I mean?
So like, I mean, are you gonna take a toe and like, put it in your mouth?
Thought you're going like to the butt or something.
Oh, dude, the last thing I want to do with someone else's toe is put it in my butt.
Like I said, if really, really picky if I were to go down that route, but it all depends on like if she was into that type of thing or not. You know what I mean?
I feel like it's more of like an in the moment kind of thing.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Like you just.
It's not like I'm just gonna, come home from work and just start sucking on toes or something, but it's definitely.
Oh man, I've had such a long day. I just want to put your toes in my mouth.
Yeah, it'd have to be. Oh man.
Oh man. All right, hit or miss, the WWE.
Big time hit.
Big time hits, bro.
That's my childhood right there,
Dude,
man.
that is my entire childhood. Do you remember the first WWE show you ever saw?
Oh, man. I don't remember the first one. Like, I really don't remember, like, what happened in the first one, but I know all the way back to, like, second grade, man.
Yeah.
I was just into it. That's, like, right around when I started getting into it.
Yeah, I remember I was really young, and I walked upstairs to my stepbrother's room, and he had a big TV in his room, and I saw that I think it was Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero had just passed away, and they were holding his memorial service.
Yeah, I was already a big time fan at that point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's when I was like introduced to it, and I saw that, you know, all the superstars were out. I didn't know they were superstars at the time, but I saw like all these people were out. People were like crying. People were like freaking out.
That was a terrible loss.
Oh, yeah. And I didn't really understand it. One, because I was young. And two, I just had no knowledge about it. But then like it went from like this, you know, big ceremony to like dudes were like kicking each other in the face. People were jumping off the top ropes. Ooh, excuse me. And that's what like kind of took me like right then and there. I was like, oh yeah, I'm committed to this for life. And I found out that like I didn't know like about like schedules for TV or like how to look stuff up on the internet. So like I dedicated my entire life to like waiting for wrestling to come up on the TV, and I would just like watch it all the time.
Dude, every Friday night, like especially when I was in 4th grade, it was like the most dedicated. Like every Friday.
Yeah, that's when it got serious.
When we got out of school, I'd go over to my buddy Graham's house.
Yeah.
Every single Friday night, we'd watch SmackDown, and then like once it was over, we would like sit there and do the wrestling moves on each other. Yeah, you do
the wrestling moves with your boys.
And then until his mom would make us like go to bed or something.
I used to track it every Friday. I would sit down on the big screen in the living room because my dad would go to work or he would go out or do something, you know. And I would turn it on, and my sister, I knew it was every time my sister would come down and watch, but like my sister wouldn't stay down there because she knew that after I saw someone do something crazy, I'd look at her, I'd be like, yo, let me try that. And she's like, no. And I was like, come on, just let me try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And I would watch it. And then I had to like talk my dad into letting me stay up on Monday nights so I could watch Raw.
Monday was a tough one. Because Raw was on till like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So like my dad would be like, no, like 9:30, you got to go to bed.
Yeah. And I remember when like, for some reason, like, I don't know if like this was at your school, but like nobody at my school liked wrestling.
There was a couple, but it was not popular at all.
Yeah, it wasn't popular because people, like, the kids were like, man, that's fake, that's stupid. Yeah. And, like, you're over here like, dude, it's totally not fake. You're like, dude, it's so real. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, God, who'd you watch the most when you were growing up?
Dude, when I was a kid, my top three favorites, just because of, like, the character that they played was John Cena.
Easy.
Rey Mysterio.
Easy.
And Batista.
Oh, yeah. Batista was all about it. You know, I was like, I mean, honestly, like I told my dad when I can't remember how old I was. I was like, when I grow up, I want to be John Cena.
Yep.
I was like, I don't want to be like him. I just want to grow up one day and wake up as John Cena. I was like so dedicated.
Yeah.
And that was like the time when John Cena was going against JBL for the WWE Championship.
Good rivalry.
And they were having the huge rivalry, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
That's when his like whole career kind of took off with that. I mean, he was already like pretty famous before. And then I started getting into it once he became like the WWE champion. And then he switched up the WWE belt, which was like the dopest thing.
The spinner?
Dude, the spinner belt?
Dude. That thing was cool. It was so flashy.
Super clutch. And then I was into like, you know, obviously like Rey Mysterio, Batista, but then like Shelton Benjamin.
Dude, he was fun to watch.
Dude, Shelton Benjamin was tight. And then later on when like, cause he was acrobatic and I liked the acrobatic dudes. And then, you know, like Kofi Kingston came up like kind of late in the game. That's when I was kind of like fading out of it.
Yeah. Kofi was like he kind of was similar to Shelton Benjamin in ways.
Yeah, definitely. And I just liked how the WWE, like once I was getting old enough to like understand what was going on, and it just got so weird. Do you remember like
It definitely phased off.
Yeah, it phased off, and I mean, dude, I honestly, right now, if you think back to the WWE back then when we were kids watching it, I don't think the same superstars that they had then would make it right now.
No. I mean, so the biggest thing I see right now is, like right before Eddie Guerrero died, and another topic we can get into later, the Chris Benoit murders.
Oh, God, yeah.
Once Chris Benoit was gone, right after that is when they really started cracking down on drugs, steroids. Like, they were really hard on the people that were using them. But before that, I mean, like, look at Brock Lesnar. Look how big he used to be. He goes to the UFC and pops on the drug test.
Yeah. And not to mention, it was just like the drugs, too. I mean, you got to understand, these dudes were on the road all the time. They have to stay in physical shape, but they have to be awake. They're doing a lot of drugs, but also the culture of wrestling was hardcore. I mean, you got a dude whose catchphrase is lie, cheat, steal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he's presenting that to kids.
And he was one of the most...
Yeah, and he was the most popular dude. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you have things like I Quit matches, no holds barred, table matches, Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
You got all that stuff, and they're like promoting it like super, super hard. People are like cussing. They're like, Stone Cold Steve Austin was cracking beer cans, pouring it all over himself. The Rock was telling you to kiss his ass. And now, that stuff's not going to fly on, regular TV. I mean, I haven't watched WWE in a minute. It's kind of phased out for me, but when I have, it's way cleaner. The superstars are nice, clean cut. There's no, like, dirty gimmicks. There's no... I mean, some of the gimmicks, like, I'm not even going to lie, some of the gimmicks were kind of pushing it. Some of them wouldn't even make it today. Like, do you remember Eugene?
Yeah.
Eugene was a WWE superstar whose quote-unquote gimmick was being mentally deficient. You know what I'm saying? He played a slower person who had, certain difficulties comprehending certain things and doing simple things. And his character was known for being taken advantage of and being messed with and bullied. And that stuff, that would not fly today.
Definitely
Dude, people would shut that shit down so quickly.
And there was a promo. I don't remember when it was. It was early 2000s.
Yeah.
With Booker T and Triple H.
Yeah.
Triple H was the champion. Booker T was the number one contender. And what started it all was Triple H brought up Booker T's crime history.
Yeah.
Started calling him nothing but an entertainer because he danced so much. And
Yeah.
pretty much said people like you with that nappy hair, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was brought up recently on YouTube. I saw a video about it where stuff like that couldn't fly today.
Not even. Remember when John Cena was the champion? He was talking to Vince McMahon, and he was just sitting there in the background, and Vince McMahon comes up to him and starts talking to him. And then John Cena's like, yeah, whatever. And he goes, all right, well, he's like, peace out, my N-word. He like drops the N-bomb. And then like everyone in the crowd is like, whoa, that's crazy. And like the like John Cena's obviously like, yo, what the heck? And the camera pans over to Booker T, who's like, did he really just say that? But it's all entertainment. I mean,
right, yeah.
I mean, obviously,
the wrestlers aren't taking offense to that.
Yeah, they're not taking because they understand it's acting. Yeah. But that right there, dude, the WWE would get sued for that nowadays.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, that wouldn't fly. I mean, even thinking about it, like, if Eddie Guerrero were to step in today and he was like, I lie, I cheat, I steal, and people would not go crazy over that.
I think a lot of people, that would cause people these days to just not like him. I think if, a character like Eddie Guerrero came in today with that same motto of, lying, cheating, and stealing that him and Chavo had, whereas back then he was a fan favorite on SmackDown. Like, he was the number one guy.
Yeah, everyone loved him because of his attitude. Well, and plus he was really big on the Hispanic culture. Now, like, me being Hispanic myself, it's like a running joke with certain people. They're like, oh, Hispanic people love, the WWE and yada, yada, yada. But it's true. It's really true. Hispanic people do love the WWE. I mean, we have lucha libres, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's a huge thing in the Hispanic culture. So it's no surprise that when the WWE arises, and then you get people like Rey Mysterio, Chavo Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero, and they bring the Hispanic culture in there. You know what I'm saying? They become fan favorites through the majority. And not only that, but they pull people from other cultures, into the sport.
Yeah. I think with today's, I don't know if it's the way the society is. I don't know about right now, but I don't think Eddie would be as much of a fan favorite right now as what he used to be.
Oh, absolutely not. People would be like, that guy's like evil, he's rude, and he'd probably have like a short-lived career. Yeah. A lot of people probably wouldn't like him.
A lot of superstars these days come in and it's like they look like, you see a lot of guys, it's like, wow, that guy's just big, he looks great, like he could be something someday and he would be a good champion, but next thing you know, he's gone.
Yeah.
And it's because they got his character wrong. They made him play the wrong
dude.
And
that's actually been the downfall of a lot of WWE superstars is you see certain characters, they'll show up, right? I mean, there have been certain cases where dudes show up, they do all right. They only play the role of the dude to get beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They just play that role of the dude that gets beat up on, and then it's a short-lived career. Some dudes go in, they throw on a mask, take the mask off. It's a big reveal, and that's their career. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude,
that's that.
Like the mass WWE superstars. That's tough. Because
that's tough.
When they pull that, they build up that fan base.
Yeah, because they're known for the mask.
And as soon as they do something like they have the matches where it's kind of like an I Quit match, except for if you lose, you take your mask off.
And that's it.
And it's like, wow, the fans are just.
Yeah, it's like, and I get it. Like, oh, they take their mask off. It's a big reveal. It's gonna pull in a lot of money, and it's gonna really promote stuff. But after that, dude, that's your career.
Rey Mysterio is like one of the only ones that did it well and put the mask back on. He did it back in WCW in the late 90s.
Yeah. I remember that when he. I can't remember who he was wrestling.
I don't remember either.
I don't remember it.
But
and he had to take his mask off. But the thing is, he took his mask off and he did it with pride. Now, in the Lucha Libre culture, the one thing you have is your mask. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is disrespectful to take your mask off. It is even more disrespectful to take someone else's mask off. You know what I mean? And for him to be able to take it off in front of all those people, but the way he did it, like by embracing it, and just being like, what's up, bitches? I'm Rey Mysterio. And, being able to put it back on. Dude, I'm not even going to lie to you. Did you ever go on, like, the WWE, like, the store? Like, WWE.com?
I have, yeah.
Dude. Yo, shout out to my dad, because he used to hook me up with stuff like that.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I had, like, I think the first thing I ever bought was, like, this John Cena shirt.
Yeah.
And, like, dude, I did my research. This is when I was, like, deep in the WWE. I was all right, yo, my dad was like, I'll get you one thing. That's it. So I did, like, my research. I was, like, comparing, like, which John Cena shirt I should get. And then I finally found one. He ordered it for me. And then he saw that I was getting, like, super into Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, you want a mask? I was like, for real? And he's like, yeah, you can get a mask. And I was like, all right, bet. I'm going to do it. And I still remember, I think I still have it. It's locked away in this box, but it's this black latex, I think it's leather. It's a leather mask, and it's got the birds running down the side. And they're white with, like, this reflective rainbow pattern. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm, like, I was that kid, like, when I came home and WWE was about to start, I'd throw my mask on, and I would go sit in front of the TV, bro, and I would just watch Rey Mysterio get after it, bro. I was so about it.
Yeah.
So about it. And, like, dude, that stuff made me go crazy, dude. That's how, like, dedicated I was.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought it was such a cool thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because, like, yeah, if you like football, you like baseball, you know, you can be like these superstars, but so many people are doing it, you know? I feel like being in the WWE and watching these guys, it was just like a totally different world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could literally be anybody you wanted to be.
Dude, yeah. You
anything. You know what I'm saying? You could be anything. Yep. Oh, speaking of characters nowadays, do you remember, I think it was Gold Dust?
Yep.
He would like paint his face, and he had a gold latex, like a gold
he had like
suit.
a gold and black suit.
Yeah, and he would like always like cross dress. Remember that? He used to wear like a long blonde wig, and every now and then people like used to make fun of him because they were like, "Oh, why are you wearing like a woman's wig?" Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they would crack jokes like that, dude. That today, dude, you get the WWE shut down.
Oh, definitely. They catch a case really quickly. But like you were saying about you could be anybody you wanted back then. Like my dad got me, man, I was probably 11, 12 years old, if that. He got me a replica of John Cena's spinner WWE title belt.
Dude, I had one too.
And even clipped in the back, dude. It would clip on,
dude. I got the small one with only like you had to put like your own Velcro strap on it.
No, dude.
You had the legit one?
It was like hard plastic, but it was painted like it looked legit. It looked like the metal one if you didn't touch it, you know. But every show I would be wearing that belt.
Yeah, dude.
Like I said, I thought I was John Cena.
Yeah,
back
dude.
then.
I remember like I always used to pass him in like the toy section.
Oh,
and I was like, "Dad, can I get this?" He's like, "No, you can't get that. I can't buy a toy right now." And then eventually he finally caved in and bought it for me. I think I got it for Christmas. Dude, I'll tell you, I was so happy when I got it. Dude, I remember opening it and I wanted to cry. I was like, dude, I'm officially John Cena. Dude, like when I tell you I got flat tops, like buzz cuts, high and tights.
Yeah, dude, I've been getting a high and tight since I was probably 10 years old until about 18.
Yeah.
Which I kept the fade, obviously, but like,
dude, like he put me onto that. You know what I mean? He put me onto that. He loved that stuff.
John Cena was like one of the best role models I think a kid could have.
He's the reason I joined the military. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, well, I wouldn't say he's the main reason, but like he was such a big supporter of the military, and I saw the movie The Marine.
Yep, that one
sold me, dude.
Me too.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, I want to be just like him. You know what I mean? And so in the back of my mind, I was always like trying to fill that role. Yeah, dude. I remember like I would come home from school, and I would like, you know, my belt was set up and my mask was sitting up, and I was like, dude, I just love it. I love the lifestyle of it. You know, being able to put that stuff on and like. I'd like walk around my room and I'd like reenact scenes and I'd like, you know, like try to trash talk like them, you know, but it was fun, you know, and that's like the life I kind of lived in, and I loved that stuff, you know. And eventually they came out because they were like the real leather belts, you know, like the legit ones. And then finally my dad got me a fake, well, it was like hard plastic, like with fake leather, and he got me it, dude.
Did it actually spin too?
Yeah, it actually spun. It was like a really big one, dude, and I loved that thing. Dude, I took so much care of that thing. I loved it to death. I even had like, it had like the nameplate, and it was just a blank nameplate, but I would like scratch my name in it.
Yeah.
And it just said Deanda. And I was like, dude, one day I'm going to wear this bad boy for real, for real. Like, I wanted to be in the WWE so badly.
I did too, man.
Yeah,
for years.
Yeah,
and then
so
I realized that I'm 5'9" and I just wouldn't make it unless I put on a mask.
Realized I cannot jump 6 feet in the air off the ropes.
I realized I'm never going to be able to lift up the Big Show.
Yeah, dude. That's what I was like, dude. There's no way I'm picking this guy up.
Yeah.
Dude, and another thing was, the Hardy Boys, dude, they changed my life.
Yeah.
When I was introduced to Jeff Hardy, I think, the first one I saw was Matt Hardy. I never saw him back when they were like really young and they were a tag team.
They were tough back then.
Yeah, I got into them when they were just you know, Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. They were kind of doing their things.
Or they were the Hardy Boys?
The Hardy Boys. That was them. But they were kind of like doing their like individual things. They weren't really a tag team. Like every now and then, like, you know, Jeff Hardy would be in something crazy and Matt Hardy would come out and help him, or Matt Hardy would be in something crazy and Jeff would come out and like, you know, do something crazy. And then the more I got into them, you know, I started watching like their previous history, and I was like, dude, Jeff Hardy's freaking insane. Dude, jumping off ladders, putting his body on the line. Like, you don't think about it when you're a kid. You're like, dude, that's crazy. But then like when you grow up and, you know, you got bad knees and a bad back and you're watching a guy putting his body on the line, you're like, dude, how did you even do that?
Dude, just because of that, I would say like the three superstars I respect the most for what they did because of stuff like that would be Jeff Hardy, Rob Van Dam,
dude,
and Eddie Guerrero.
Dude, just because Rob Van Dam. Yes. Dude, remember when they brought back ECW?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I was on like this whole WWE kick, you know, it was like decent entertainment, but it was kind of like clean entertainment. And then they brought back the ECW. And I was like, they brought back Hardcore Hardy. They brought back Rob Van Dam, the Sandman, dude.
Oh,
dude.
Those guys are...
I was like, yo, I'm on a whole different wave now. Do you remember when John Cena went up against Rob Van Dam?
At ECW.
At ECW.
Yes.
And I remember it was a WWE match, and I remember seeing a sign, because I didn't really know what ECW was all about, but they were like, there was a sign. I still remember seeing it. It said, if John Cena wins, we riot. And I was like, oh God, like these guys are serious. They're throwing like beer cans.
Yeah.
They're like spitting on them. Like I remember this one kid, Randy Orton was walking down the aisle, like the entrance aisle to the ring. And this one kid like slapped Randy Orton. And like obviously Randy Orton's in character, but that's like a paying fan. He had no, relation with this kid. And the kid, this is a young kid, slapped him on the back. And Randy Orton stopped and like looked at him. And the kid was like flipping him off, and he was like, "Fuck you, Randy." He's like, "Fuck you," blah blah blah. And I was like, "Dude, this stuff's no joke. Like they take wrestling super seriously." And obviously, freaking spoiler alert, but wrestling's fake. You know what I mean? Yeah. But these guys took it to a new level. Like I remember when Mick Foley was like choke slamming people onto like thumbtacks and stuff. Yep. Those are real thumbtacks. And I remember
he got choke slammed through a Hell in a Cell from the top.
Yeah,
by the
from
Undertaker.
the top, dude. What? Like, dude, that's a hard free. That's like a 12-foot free fall onto a mat.
That man was recovering for at least a month, and he's still probably scarred up from that.
Oh yeah. Do you remember when Hardcore Hardy jumped through a table and lacerated his back? I remember watching a WWE pay-per-view event, and he jumped off the top rope onto a table with like barbed wire and stuff.
Yeah.
Split his back from like top to bottom, like a huge laceration, dude, pouring blood. And like even the commentators were like, yeah, we gotta stop. Take the camera off of him. Like it's just too hard to watch. Like it was literally gruesome.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is a whole different wave of wrestling, and that is what threw me off.
Dude, but I watched a video not very long ago, and it was kind of like a throwback video to. See, it was either late 90s or early 2000s, and I believe it was Stone Cold and Triple H.
Yeah.
I think it might have been a title match. And, their promo, like, they hated each other. They had just a big rivalry going, like, a lot of beef for weeks and weeks and weeks that they had leading up to this match to get the people. And during the match, I think Triple H just hit Stone Cold with something. Stone Cold's down. A fan jumps over the barricade and runs up into the ring.
What?
And at that point, the wrestlers can put as much force in them as they want to. At that point,
you're interfering with the show. That's like a dude coming into like my podcast right now and like saying whatever he wants, like just kicking in the door.
I'm probably gonna spear him through the table.
Yeah, of course, dude. Like you think I'm not gonna hit a Batista bomb through this table sitting right in front of me right now? Yeah. I'm about to put in work. Yeah,
but dude, I don't know if you've ever seen that, but Stone Cold was down. That fan jumped in and like got on top of him. Triple H immediately grabs that fan, like slams him on the ground and like beat the dog shit out of him, like for real.
Yeah, like for real.
But at that point, like it's the fan. Like you can beat the shit out of that person and not get in any trouble. And they're banned forever.
And another thing too, I remember this was like kind of newish WWE. This is when Brock Lesnar made his comeback. Yeah. But he actually got into a fight. Like there was this huge promo with John Cena and Brock Lesnar, and they were like kind of getting into this beef. But Brock Lesnar came out and legitimately punched John Cena in the face. Like that wasn't how it was supposed to go. Like John Cena, they were supposed to trash talk, push a little bit, do some moves on each other, and like he'd get the promo done. Brock Lesnar actually started punching him in the face, like split his mouth. He started bleeding everywhere.
I remember seeing that one. I do.
Yeah, that was all real. Like the refs, other superstars were coming out of the gate.
I always thought that was planned.
Yeah, no, that was real. Like that was never supposed to happen. They were really beating the crap out of each other. And I was like, dude, like this is for real, for real.
That's why when I saw that, I'm like, wow, that's good acting. Yeah. I actually watched that video live. I was still in high school when that happened.
Yeah.
I think I was a senior and just bored on a Monday night
through it. Yeah. I've done that before. I've just like checked out and be like, I wonder what my guys are doing right now.
It's like when Goldberg came back, I actually watched it. Like,
yeah.
I was like,
I mean, that's a big deal. Yeah. It's
my childhood.
Yeah. And then another one, I can't remember who was fighting. Oh God, CM Punk. That's who it was. So CM Punk and John Cena were doing a promo, and CM Punk goes totally off script, and he was like, they was just supposed to talk a little trash, promote the fight, but then CM Punk was like, you know what, I hate this place. He was like, I'm tired of the managers, I'm tired of the attitudes of the other wrestlers. He's like, I'm sick of you being this, superstar. He's like, you guys don't share the limelight. And you could see Cena was like... Cena was like, well, what about this? Trying to pull him back in. But CM Punk was full off script.
He quit at that point, right?
Yeah, he quit.
Yeah.
He was like, nah. He's like, you know what? No. Forget this. And he walks out of the ring, walks up the aisle.
Yep.
Sits down. And just starts laying in Vince McMahon.
He was just sitting at the top of the stage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people Cena was like trying to bring him back in, but at that point Cena was like, you know what? He's like, I'm not going to jeopardize my career. This guy's like literally putting it all on the line. And it was all live.
Yeah, at that point though, Cena and CM Punk were the top two wrestlers on Raw.
Yeah.
Like they're like either Punk was the number one contender, I believe, and Cena was the champion. It could have been vice versa, but they were the top two, and it was a battle, like a back and forth title swap, 2 or 3 times.
Of course.
And when that happened, that was a big surprise to everybody. But
yeah, and then he went to like the UFC, and I think he got his face kicked in. Was definitely not okay.
I think he's only had 2 fights.
Yeah, I don't think they were good. I think he got worked. But yeah, it kind of serves him right, dude. I mean, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You're a superstar and you're famous and you're looking for more money, but come on, dude. You're going to like a lot of the people who don't understand it, like the young kids, they're like, oh, man, CM Punk's a jerk, yada, yada. But like to the older fans, because they're fans of all ages, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're really disrespecting that legacy of all the people who before you who are great performers. Because to be a wrestler, you have to be an actor.
Oh, you got to be. They base the number one contender off the best with, the best people who can talk on the mic, the best who can come up with stuff to say on the fly.
Yeah, of course, and like
best
they
actors.
Create that emotion. You're an actor.
Yeah.
But you're also an athlete.
That's why these guys go into every single one of them goes into acting.
Yeah, that's why they all have. Dude, Batista's in freaking Guardians of the Galaxy,
and he was in the MMA.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And John Cena, he's in a bunch of Hollywood movies now and stuff. And dude, that was like a pivotal point where like the WWE was like, okay, we got to get it together because dudes are lashing out. I thought that was definitely not cool. Another thing that I thought was not cool was actually kind of tying into what you were talking about earlier. Was I was pretty young when this happened, but Vince McMahon was doing this promo. I can't remember who he was beefing with, but he like was walking out to the car. He was like standing in his limo, right? And as soon as he shut the door, the limo like blew up.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
It was, I believe, Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I don't know for sure on that
Yeah.
one.
So he like gets in, and like people were actually calling 911. Like no joke, people inside the stadium were calling 911 like, "Yo, we're at this wrestling event. Vince McMahon just stepped into his limo and it blew up." Because it looks so real, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, it was camera magic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, dude, people didn't know that.
It looked like it was live footage.
Yeah, and, dude, I was a kid.
I was, too. I was
like, I knew what was right and wrong, what's real and fake, but I did not know that was fake. And I was freaking out. Like, I remember I was upstairs watching it, and I went downstairs, and I was like, Dad, I'm like, yo, dude, I'm like, change the channel. Like, we changed the channel, and, like, dude, the limo's on fire. People are, like, freaking out. And I'm like, dude, yo, I just watched this guy who I, see on wrestling videos all this time. He's dead. I'm freaking out. And that's when that was, like, that messed me up for a little bit. But then I remember a week later, Chris Benoit, that whole ordeal happened. And then Vince McMahon's giving a speech. He's like, look, I faked my death. But unfortunately, like there's a real death that happened.
Yeah,
and he was like, Chris Benoit was found in his house of a apparent double murder suicide. And dude, that rocked my world.
Dude, Chris Benoit was the freaking man back then, bro.
Yeah, dude, that guy was intense.
He was. I mean, he was there, WCW, and then when they rolled into WWE, like. That man was there for like a long time.
And that when they that kind of relit the flame of, they were blaming it on steroid abuse and it was roid rage, and diving deeper. I mean, I was too young to really understand, but I was like, it was like almost like another Eddie Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero abused his body so much and he was abusing steroids, and then his heart stopped on him and stuff. But this was different,
Yeah.
That was a very weird thing to watch and try to understand as a young kid. You know what I mean?
The Benoit story is very interesting.
What do you mean?
So from what I understand, I was watching Chris Jericho podcast, and he had Chavo Guerrero on it. And
right.
Chavo was one of Chris Benoit's best friends. Like, Chris Benoit, Eddie, and Chavo were like, they were all best friends, like, outside of the WWE. And, Chavo was saying that Chris and his wife were having a little bit of marital problems. Like,
right.
And that night, he said, Chris called him, and they were talking, and, they were boys. They were like brothers. Chris was he was stressed. He just didn't seem right. And they say that they love each other, like, when they end their phone calls. And he's like, Chris said it weird, and he's like, just out of nowhere, I love you, man.
Really?
And and Chavo was like, yeah, it was just such the way he said it was like he was forcing me to say it back. And I'm like, I love you too, bro. But, everything good? Like, what's up?
Really?
He's like, yeah, man, everything's fine. But he said they had a show, like a pay-per-view event the next day. And their plan was they were going to hop on a plane together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, Chris was going to hop on the plane. They were going to meet up, and then they were going to go to the show. But right before the phone call ended, he said there was a ring at the door. So Chris excused himself, went and got the door. And he's like, there was a scuffle, like, really quickly, and then the phone call ended.
Really?
Yes.
I've never heard about that.
There's a whole
of the, conversation
documentary on it.
Really?
So
I'm gonna have to get into that.
So Chavo's like, I called him back, no answer. Called him back again, no answer. So I'm like, we'll give him a few hours. Calls him back, nothing. And then their flight was at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Right before the flight, he calls him, nothing. He wakes up that day as he's about to get on his flight, and there was a text from Chris, and it said, hey, man, the house is unlocked. The dogs are in the back.
What?
And he's like, he was confused. And he's like, okay. No answer on the phone, but you text me. He goes to the show. Chris ain't there.
Right.
And then Vince McMahon's like, where's Chris Benoit? I think he had a match that night. I don't think it was the main event, but he had a match.
Yeah.
Actually,
probably get some like FaceTime in there.
It might have been the main event. He had a title shot, I believe.
Really?
Yeah. Chavo was like, he was my boy, so I covered for him. He's like, yeah, I haven't heard from him. I don't know what's going on. He didn't want to tell.
Yeah, like what's going on, because he's probably, I understand that, like, covering for your boy, you know what I mean? Because you don't really that, but for me, I don't know if that's like really, really suspicious.
This gets a little weirder.
Yeah.
Right. So the cops, somebody tips them, right, and they say the Benoit family is dead. Everybody's murdered, and Chris
hung himself.
Yeah. He's hanging. And it was like a neighbor. So the cops go there. That's when they do the WWE. They banned anybody from talking to the press. If they say anything, they're fired. Like, they banned it. They did not want the WWE associated with a double homicide.
Yeah, double murder, homicide.
Suicide, whatever. And so that neighbor, this is the crazy part.
Yeah.
That neighbor stated that she saw Chris Benoit's wife. I don't remember her name.
I don't either, but I know she was a WWE superstar. WCW.
Back in WCW.
Yeah.
She was like an assistant to another wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
But she was dating that guy. She was with him.
While she was married to Chris?
No, before this.
Oh, okay.
And then Chris met her. She left him, married Chris.
Yeah.
And then done with the WWE. She didn't want to be on any more shows.
Yeah.
The neighbor saw that man that she used to be with leaving the house.
Really?
Yes.
Did they ever talk to that guy or what?
They talked to him, but the cops just, I guess they just ended the investigation so fast and cleared it as Chris murdered him.
Yeah, that was a pretty quick thing. I mean, obviously I was pretty young while I was like watching this whole ordeal take place, but I remember it was just like open, and then it was closed. Like looking back at it, dude, it was just like, okay, they're murdered, suicide, and then a couple weeks later, it's like, yeah, Chris Benoit. Don't ever talk about Chris Benoit ever again on the WWE. You know, he's a piece of shit. He fucking killed his family and he hung himself, and that was that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. Then that's been the running thing ever. I never even knew anything about this, honestly.
Yeah. So there's a lot of conspiracies when it comes to this. But unfortunately they didn't look into it, and I'm not even sure if the police knew about the so-called scuffle that Chavo Guerrero heard over the phone.
Did Chavo ever talk to the police or say anything about that?
Chavo didn't say because he was too scared to talk to the press. He's too scared to. I mean, I don't know if he did or not. I assume he would have talked to the cops because being Chris's best friend.
Dude, if I got murked and something like that was happening, I would expect you to be like, hey, dude, say something.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Kevin was at my house yesterday. You know,
yeah, like, what is that, you know?
Just the fact that man was there. Because they weren't on, like, best friend terms. That's not what they were. He didn't want her to leave him. And especially she left him and got with another WWE superstar.
Yeah, of course.
But, so there's that. And then there's also one of Chris Benoit's, signature moves. I don't know if it was called the figure four or I don't know if he called it the
I know what you're...
It was
I know what you're talking about.
It was a submission move around the neck. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the crossface?
Yes, crossface. That's what it was. So, at first, what the police let out was he gave his son the crossface and killed him. That's how he killed his son.
Wait, what? That's
Seriously.
What they said?
Yes. And then further examinations came out and said no. That's physically impossible. He did not do what the markings on the boy. He didn't do that.
They literally said,
yes.
They made a statement saying that he killed his son using a finishing move.
Yes.
That's
a different type of sadistic if that were true, but it's not true.
Yeah.
But it sucks, and I wish I could talk to Chavo in person to see, get more of the story, because there's really not much out there if you try and dig for it, but it's just an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, dude, that was kind of my, because I mean, obviously when I got introduced to the sport, Eddie Guerrero had just died. But now, I'd been accustomed to the WWE lifestyle, the superstars. I got in with Chris Benoit, and, hearing something like that and seeing something like that, dude, I mean, that kind of broke me in a way, you know what I mean? I was sad. That's like one of my childhood heroes.
Yeah, Chris
was a good one. Yeah, and they're saying that he did something like that. That really messed me up and kind of, put me in a weird spot. And what I didn't like, but I understand now as an older guy, they were kind of just like, yo, forget about this guy. Don't ever mention his name. We're going to have one episode. We're going to not even they kind of mourned him, but they kind of didn't. They mourned more of the family. But, they didn't push it out more than they should. I'm like, dude, if something like that, they claimed roid rage, you know what I mean? It turned into this whole, he was taking steroids, he was abusive, and then all of a sudden, he just snapped. And then he went out and he did all these terrible things. I'm like, dude, this guy was a hero to so many people.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really make sense, but it was so sad to see, you know what I mean?
And, from what I've heard, he did steroids. He did have a lot of harsh side effects from steroids, but it's just such a bold statement when you can't prove that. And you just hurt so many young people that love Chris Benoit.
Yeah, you hurt the young people, but then you dude, I mean, you tarnished his name.
You ruined his name.
Ruined his name. And now, people don't even bring him up.
No.
I'm almost positive there's, a rule that you're not even supposed to mention Chris Benoit.
Yeah. I know, it was weird when it happened. WWE superstars couldn't bring him up. They couldn't say nothing about him. If they were asked about him, they couldn't say anything because there was too much on the line for them. But
yeah, and I just don't... God, man, thinking back to it, dude, I'm just reliving all the crazy emotions that were going on. That's a twisted thing, man. You know what I'm saying? And I remember it so clearly.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It was unreal. unreal. I mean, the Eddie Guerrero death was hard, and that was another thing for Chris Benoit. That dude went into clinical depression.
Yeah, and I actually remember, now that you bring that up, I remember seeing Chris for the first time. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the first people I saw. He was very sad. He was crying. They put a camera on him, because that was his best friend.
Literally best friend.
Literally his best friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's out there crying his eyes out, all these bad things. And that's what kind of opened up the door for a lot of like drug usage in the WWE. And, we got to expose these people doing steroids. But that was back when steroids in sports were like a really big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of like, the baseball scandal went on with all these people taking steroids.
Yep.
And then it bled into the WWE. You know what I mean? Which was kind of weird seeing all that stuff happen.
Yeah, the best superstars back then, they were on steroids. Well, I mean, for the most part. It's hard to say for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, some of the guys, you got like John Cena, who was like, this really big buff dude. But I mean,
he was a bodybuilder.
Yeah, he was a bodybuilder, athlete. He did all these things. And, a lot of these guys came into question. You had the Big Show, who was, he's a big dude. And then you had Mark Henry, who was like the world's strongest man. And they started falling under questions. And then, but after that kick, they started cracking down on people. And then you see like the performance of the WWE kind of died down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's a hard thing to put under wraps, that people are doing steroids, because you get to the WWE and it's like, yes, you're a professional athlete, but you're more of an actor than you are considered, quote unquote, an athlete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of things kind of went. I mean, you had dudes who were like smoking weed, people were doing coke, and then you get steroids in the mix, but it's not a legitimate, it's not recognized as a sport. It's entertainment.
Right. They definitely never took it as seriously as drugs in football or baseball or
yeah,
like that. Nowadays they do.
Oh yeah, nowadays they totally do.
You look at the WWE right now. There's so many like more like light heavyweight or cruiserweight people in the WWE.
Yeah, you don't have the big. I mean, you got some big buff dudes, but I mean, even then, you still see like the deterioration of people's bodies. I mean, obviously they're putting their lives pretty much on the line. They're putting their body on the line. And, you see, plus they're always shirtless all the time, and you can notice if the backlashes of steroids, you see like, you see back knee, you see a lot of excess estrogen in their chest and stuff. And you can tell like, okay, it looks like this dude was on the juice and then he stopped, or he's having like a bad reaction and stuff like that. And they're doing a bunch of weird stuff.
Yep.
And that's when it was kind of like making the break, dude. I don't know. It's a crazy thing to think about. All that other stuff.
It's definitely changed a lot over the years. And honestly, I think the biggest thing is after, Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero, like nowadays you see way less blood than what you used to.
Oh, yeah. You see way less blood. You see way less cussing. And like dude, remember when the Boogeyman was out?
Boogeyman was an awesome entertainer.
Dude, oh yeah, it was crazy. Because it was something people had never seen before. This dude comes out of this smoky red, mist, and he's got worms in his mouth, and he's like stuffing worms into other people's mouth, which is actually disgusting. I mean, I was a child, and I remember when the Boogeyman used to come out on the stage, and I would like not look at the TV. I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm about to watch this.
Dude, he was creepy.
He was so creepy. And you even had stuff like Edge. Edge was the guy who kind of pushed the limit.
He did. He tiptoed that line for sure.
Oh, he tiptoed the hell out of that line. Yeah. Having a live sex show.
With Lita?
Yeah, with Lita, dude. Like, I'm a kid, and I'm like, okay, what's about to happen? I'm about to get some free entertainment here on USA channel.
You know something crazy about Lita?
What?
So, I don't know if you knew this. Before she was with Edge, she was with Matt Hardy.
Yeah, dude.
She cheated on Hardy.
Yeah, with Edge, right?
And that caused actual like real life beef.
Really?
Behind the stage.
Oh, that was like for real.
That was for real.
I didn't even know that.
Matt Hardy and Edge had real beef when that happened.
And see, that's the thing though.
They did good at keeping it off the stage.
Yeah, but still, dude, the fact that they like capitalized on that and did stuff like, dude, that makes you think like, dude, that's kind of a twisted world that that like that's what's really going on. Like real beef's going on behind the scenes, and then the WWE's like,
there's been a lot of it
good.
over
Let's
the
capitalize on it. That's messed up, dude, you know?
I don't know. So it was another situation where there was real beef. I don't know if you saw. It was right after Brock Lesnar's return.
Yeah.
After his beef with Cena, then he went into some beef with the Viper, or the previously known as the Legend Killer, Randy Orton.
The Legend Killer.
Orton. But him and Randy Orton had a pay-per-view match, and they did a decent promo. Like, it's kind of cut short, but Randy Orton delivered a couple RKOs out of nowhere. Brock Lesnar laid a couple F5s. Anywho, in the pay-per-view match, they claim it was scripted. For Brock Lesnar, he was on top of Orton to deliver a real elbow to the eyebrow, so he could bust him open for real. But because of Brock Lesnar's UFC background, he knows you don't got to hit somebody very hard right there to bust him open.
Yeah.
So he does that, and it was kind of a dominant fight at that point in Brock Lesnar's favor. He delivers that elbow, knocks Randy Orton clean out.
Really?
They ended the match right there with a TKO. So it was supposed to be a pinfall win for Lesnar with Orton busted open. But he actually knocked him out. So the refs had nothing. They had to call the match. They called it a KO, and it was not supposed to go that way. And it was quick. It was a quick match. So Lesnar, leaves Beast Incarnate. He leaves like, I'll F up anybody in the WWE. Don't care, Biggest dude. The second he gets backstage, Lesnar at 6'4", 285, Chris Jericho.
Oh, yeah?
Chris Jericho at all of maybe 6 foot.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking 220, light heavyweight, comes out of nowhere, and he's pretty old too. I guess he was like screaming at Lesnar like, what the fuck, blah, blah, blah. Why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah, of course.
And he's like, was that scripted? And nobody would answer him, so he got really pissed off. And Lesnar was like, what are you going to do, little bitch? Hit me. Hit me.
Was this on camera or was this
No, it was not on camera.
Oh, yeah.
This was like, I think it was on Jericho's podcast, and there was somebody else that covered it and talked about it. So I kind of just put two and two together, picked a little bit out of each. But I guess Jericho didn't hit him, but he was fired up, and then Lesnar left. But like he made a scene, and like everybody broke him up, like before he really got the chance to hit him. But like, props to Jericho, man. Yeah,
dude. I mean, come on, dude. You're like I said, dude. You're an actor. This is a TV show, and you're out here knocking dudes out. I mean, Brock Lesnar's known to be a hothead. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's been a hothead in the WWE, in the UFC. He's always had that dominant figure persona about him. But I mean, you're out here knocking dudes out. Now, granted, growing up, I hated Randy Orton. But I mean, come on, dude. Like, I mean, me as a young kid watching it, I'm like, oh, yeah, good. F Randy Orton, I don't really care. But as a grown man watching that happen, I'm like, dude, that's so disrespectful. You're putting people's lives in danger. Like, you're really, doing that stuff.
I was watching it. I was actually watching the fight because for some reason when Lesnar came back, I started watching just his fights just because I want to see what he was about. And then when Goldberg came back, obviously, too, I watched him.
Oh, of course.
For like the 2 episodes he
That
came
dude revolutionized the spear.
But when he did that on that fight, I'm like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, he didn't blade.
Oh, no.
That's what, because, they blade. That's
they blade, and then,
I'm like, that was real. And in my head, I'm like, it's planned. And I'm like, there's no way it ended that way. Because just Orton, you could tell, dude, he bled. There was a puddle on the mat beside him, like, very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
They got that man help, like, so fast, stitched him up. Like, I mean, it was a mess. But, Vince McMahon eventually came out, I think, like, the next day and was like, it was planned. It was supposed to go that way, with the elbow, but it wasn't supposed to end the way that it did. And
yeah, it's some cold-blooded stuff, man. And you see that stuff in the WWE, unfortunately. And that's kind of like the sick background. But I mean, in a way, it's a physical sport. I mean, when dudes are getting hit over getting hit over the head with chairs.
Yeah,
dude, you're taking a chair to the head.
Even if you get a hand up there to brace some of the impact,
you're taking a chair to the head.
You hear the impact, dude.
Yeah. And like when you're going through a table, the tables are weak, maybe, like down the middle, but you're going through a table.
They're preset, but
you're going through a table though.
You're still not landing on a soft mat. You're risking concussion,
spinal injury. When Jeff Hardy jumps off a 20-foot ladder, to go through someone else laying on a ladder.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a ladder. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they're preset to break and stuff, but like, dude, you're doing not just jumping, you're doing front flips. I got to count on you to catch me. You know, all these things that are like consensual fighting, but you're out here doing craziness, like hurting someone.
Yeah. Dude,
that's unprofessional, dude.
Do you remember John Morrison?
Ooh, John Morrison. Why does it sound so familiar?
So, man, he was a very electrifying superstar. He had long hair. He wore no shirt.
Oh, like the True Religion things with like the puffy, like the fur bottoms and stuff. And dude. I remember
he wore
when
the shades. He was like a pretty boy.
Yeah.
So I always enjoyed watching John Morrison, but he was another Kofi Kingston, Shelton Benjamin. He was somebody that they could have made him something, but his character just died a little too early. But anywho, John Morrison had a partner, his tag team partner.
Yeah, he was the same way, wasn't he? He
dressed
the
exact same way.
Literally this identical, yeah.
I don't think that they were brothers, but I do believe that they were like best friends. Anywho, they had I believe it was a 6-man tag match. It was a ladder match. I don't know if it was Money in the Bank or not, but it was a ladder match. And John Morrison's partner was out of the ring. And there was a ladder kind of teetering on the edge of the ring, like on the outside. And his partner was like standing up from the ringside on the floor. Stands up. Somebody got slingshotted on top of the ladder in the ring. And it slinged the ladder up, hit that man on the bottom of the nose, and just destroyed his face. Blood everywhere.
All over the place.
Ended the man's career.
Oh, really? That was it?
That match ended his career.
God.
If you pull that match up, it is heinous to watch. Like you could tell that, oh my goodness, it was brutal.
God. Yeah, dude, and that's the thing. Like, these dudes really put their lives on the line. Like, plain and simple. They do.
Yeah.
You know? And it's for our own entertainment. And yeah, we can sit back and forth and be like, oh, the punches aren't real. Yeah, we get it. You know, we know it's not that real. But the thing is, dude, these guys are out here making contact with each other. Like when Jeff Hardy stands on top of a Hell in the Cell and he's going to swanton bomb somebody, that's a full front flip.
Yeah.
He has to calculate it right. He cannot miss. And if he misses, you know, the opponent has to either play it off or try to get, you know, to catch him a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's just a scary thing. I even remember Chris Benoit, he tried to do like a flying headbutt, like one of his finishers, you know, and he jumps and he actually makes contact, or he misses terribly wrong.
Yeah.
And he hits his head off the mat and he's concussed. And how do you play that off? You know what I mean?
Either way, like that's a tough shot to the head.
That's a tough shot to the head. And that's brain damage, dude. You're risking brain damage to entertain a bunch of people. So, like, to say that these guys aren't doing what they, like, going to the extreme to entertain these people it's just, come on, don't say that, dude. Like, these guys are really out there putting their bodies on the line. You know what I mean? But it's unfortunate, though, to see, like, a lot of the wrestlers, like, a lot of the ECW guys, you know, like, I was watching this documentary, this interview with Rob Van Dam, and the Sandman walks. I mean, dude, Rob Van Dam's still wrestling, but God.
I love Rob Van Dam.
I love him to death, but, dude, I mean, this guy's old. He's beat up. He's out of shape. And he's looking heinous. You know what I mean? He just looks like a bag of bones. And Sandman walks up, and he's like, hey, guys. And, you know, he's like, he's drinking beer, smoking a cigarette inside. And, you know, dude, it's just sad, though, to see some of these people, you know, like.
Yeah. Their careers and, you know, everything ends early for these guys.
Yeah,
they die young.
Yeah, they die young, or their body's all messed up, or, you know, they party so hard because that's what the WWE wants for them. Yeah. You know, they want them to party hard. They want to live that lifestyle, to embrace that character. And it's so sad to see, you know, like how fast these guys deteriorate. You know what I mean? What was it? Like the average expectancy of a running back in the WWE is, well, technically, like the average quote unquote lifespan of a running back in the NFL is 3 years, right? Because, you know, they're actually running, they're making contact with each other, doing all that.
Yeah.
You take that, and for a WWE superstar, if they're not taking care of themselves, like, it's like a year and a half of them doing high flying, cool stuff, to where they have to take a break.
A big part of that is, I know a lot of them have came out and admitted that they need help because they get addicted to painkillers.
Yeah, painkillers, because, dude, you're on the road, and a lot of people are like, oh, but it's, you know, Monday night, and then it's Friday night. Dude, like these people are doing road shows. They're going to like small towns. They're
going across country.
Yeah, they're promoting themselves. Like, dude,
all over.
You could be in a Hell in a Cell in one night, but 2 nights from now, you got to go out and do a regular match for a promo that's not going to be televised. Yeah. You know, it's a promo for you. People are going to still buy tickets. People want to see you. They want to meet you. They want to watch you do high-flying stuff, and they want to see you get hit with a chair, and they want to see that stuff, and you have to do it. So, obviously, you know, I'm not trying to slander the name of the WWE by any means or any of the superstars, but they find ways to cope with that. They find ways to take the pain away. You know, they get addicted to painkillers, or they're staying up all night, so they're taking Adderall. They need a quick pick-me-up, so they're doing cocaine, and it's sad to see, but that's what's going on.
They have to do it.
They have to do
it.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, you know? And that's a tough thing to watch, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. All in all, though, I mean, props to those guys for making my childhood one of the craziest experiences of my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of that stuff I'll never forget, but it is unfortunate that, you know, it goes that way. Now, I'm not saying the WWE has a promising career or future, you know, as a whole, as obviously it's gone down. I mean, it's still televised and stuff, but now it's just so clean cut. You know, the biggest beef is like someone called you like stupid or something, and now you gotta, it's like, oh, you think I'm stupid? Well, we'll handle this on Friday night at, you know, Friday Night SmackDown, and that's it. You know what I mean? That's it. You know, it's not as raw and just full of emotion as it used to be, you know, and that's what kind of ruins it. But
tell you what, though, Kevin, one more superstar that comes to mind. I just wonder if you've ever dug into this guy, Kurt Angle.
Oh, dude, Kurt Angle. You know what it was for me? Was the mouthpiece. Dude, the mouthpiece, legendary.
Yeah,
legendary. And I thought the cool thing was like they always promoted like how he was like a gold medalist.
Yeah.
He really was.
Yeah, I know.
Really was a legitimate gold medalist wrestler.
Did you watch that match? That wrestling match in the Olympics?
Yeah, I did. Did you know he had
he had a broken neck when he did that wrestling match?
Not wrestling WWE, like a legitimate, I think it was freestyle. Was it freestyle wrestling?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the Olympics.
In the Olympics with a broken neck.
Yes.
And 1 gold.
He had a neck brace on.
For the USA.
Yeah. So dude, when the WWE, when he would always come out, and you know, back in, you know, the early 2000s, every time his entrance would come out, that everybody would chant "You suck" to the beat.
Yeah, dude. People, you suck. Yeah,
At first, Kurt Angle hated that.
Really?
Yeah, and he took the mic one time and he was like, "What is wrong with you people?" Yeah, you know, he's like, "I'm an Olympic gold medalist. I won it with a broken neck." Like all that stuff.
Yeah, I remember when he lashed. Yeah, I remember when he lashed out.
And eventually, he started to figure it out. Like, he started loving when they would say "you suck" because he's like, they're saying you suck to my opponent, not to me. You know what I mean,
dude? But yeah, that guy was crazy.
Kurt Angle was he was another one that.
Dude,
was
I gotta
huge.
tell you, dude, when he used to put people in an ankle lock, because I hated Kurt Angle, dude.
Especially when he hit the Undertaker with it,
dude. I hated Kurt Angle with a passion, and when he started throwing dudes in the ankle lock, I would like stand up and freak out.
I'd be like, "Shit, it's over."
Yeah,
you know
right.
I mean?
Yeah,
he got John Cena in the ankle lock.
Yeah, dude. He put some of the legends in an ankle lock. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that kind of got me. But yeah, the guy was a real athlete, you know, putting on. And I mean, he took the entertainment route, which is smart. I mean, he was in a couple movies. He did a couple cool things. I think he's like GMing for. Didn't he run the WWE or TNT? I think he's with like TNT now and stuff.
Yeah, that company was like, I think it was called TNA, and he
TNA,
was with TNA Impact for a while, actually wrestling, and then I believe he's back with WWE doing something like management wise. I don't know if he's wrestling anymore, but you know, he's still got his hand in the pot for sure though.
Oh yeah, I mean the dude. I mean, come on, like the dude built a name for himself. He's a legend in the WWE. But you got to understand, this guy was like for real, you know what I mean? He was really out here winning gold for our country. Yeah. So shout out to that guy.
No, for real though. Yeah, when I looked that up, I'm like, wow, I'm a huge fan of Kurt Angle now. Like, it's just his character came off as an arrogant asshole.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And that's why I hated him.
It was intentional for him to be that villain that was just tough. He was the best wrestler.
Yeah.
But he just that's what he had in his arsenal was wrestling.
Oh yeah, and I mean he totally exploited the wrestling aspect, and he built a name for it.
Dude, when he would he would hit, as a signature, he'd hit the angle slam.
Yeah.
He'd rip off the shoulder straps.
Yeah, dude,
on
that's
his
when
tights.
that's when it got serious. He was like, he would hit it and he'd rip the strap. I'm like, oh,
and he was
no.
like pretty ripped and cut up.
Oh
too,
yeah,
man.
I mean,
but he was natural.
Yeah, the dude was an Olympic wrestler. Like I don't know if you know what goes on in those guys' minds, but those wrestlers out there, they're insane.
Yeah,
I've talked to some college level professional like freestyle wrestlers. Like, dude, their work ethic is out of this world. I mean, dude, they want to win so bad. They're aggressive. And I mean, he was just able to channel that and put it into acting while also maintaining like athleticism.
I don't know if you noticed when Brock Lesnar came in the WWE, and I believe 2001. He wasn't in the WWE very long at first.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar came in as that 6'4", 6'5", 295-pound athlete, just huge.
Oh yeah.
I believe Brock Lesnar, he wrestled for Minnesota, the college team, and he's from South Dakota, and then he got a scholarship to Minnesota to wrestle, and he won a national championship.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was that serious.
He won a national championship in NCAA wrestling.
Yeah, I'll still beat his ass though.
And so he was considering going professional fighting or trying for like Olympics.
Yeah.
WWE wrote him, they gave him a contract and he turned it down. And then they gave him a bigger one and he accepted it. And he came into WWE. And it's funny to me that they immediately pushed him and Kurt Angle together. So at first, like they were like a beefing. At first, they got along really well, and they were just like brothers. Like they fucked with each other.
Yeah.
And then they actually turned into a rivalry, their characters' rivalry.
Yeah.
But offline, like out, behind the scenes, they were actually really good friends.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle was like a mentor to him, but it was good that they pushed them two together because they were both just crazy wrestlers. That's what they did.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. All right. Matter of fact, now that we're on this, all right, you ready?
Yeah.
Hit or miss, The Undertaker.
Undertaker's a big hit.
Big hit.
Big time. Dude, he always freaked me out when I was a kid. You know what I mean? It was kind of like when the Boogeyman came, but Undertaker was a monster. He was an unstoppable to me.
Hit or miss, Kane.
Oh, boy. Dude, I'm going to say hit, and the only reason is because when we used to play WWE games as a kid,
yeah,
and I would be Undertaker, my buddy would always be my tag team partner as Kane.
Every single time. Yeah, because they just went together so well.
Yeah.
Dude, they rocked. Ooh, hit or miss, the great Khali.
Dude, he's a miss for me, bro.
Are you serious? I think he's a miss. I didn't like him at first because he was such a villain.
Yeah.
But like towards the end when they cleaned up his act and he was like kind of like the good power and he would kind of like, clean up matches and help people out. That was.
And then John Cena beat him in the parking lot, bro.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Rey
John
Mysterio landed a 619.
Hey,
just gonna put that out there.
Just throwing that out there. Okay, hit or miss. Montel Vontavious Porter, also known as MVP.
Bro, so personally, I didn't care for MVP, but he was an entertainer, whether you like him or not. That dude was an entertainer. But me personally, I didn't really root for him.
Yeah, I can understand that.
He was around in the Boogeyman and Bobby Lashley time.
Yeah, they were. Oh, Bobby Lashley. Let's talk about Bobby Lashley,
Bobby
dude.
was the man, bro.
Dude, Bobby was an animal.
And he is. I think he returned to the WWE.
He did. He did make a return.
He actually had a pretty successful MMA career. I mean,
yeah, he did do pretty well. I do remember seeing a couple of his fights, and I mean, he was turning up. I mean, the dude's a very well-rounded athlete. All right, this should be a pretty easy one. Hit or miss, Shawn Michaels.
Oh man, Heartbreak Kid,
dude,
baby.
The Heartbreak Kid.
That boy's a hit.
Yeah, dude, that got me all the time.
Brother, every time me and my brother would play WWE together, dude.
Yeah.
I would be Triple H. If I picked Triple H, he was my tag team partner, Shawn Michaels.
Oh, yeah, dude. They went together so well. You know what it was? I remember, like, dude, just like Shawn Michaels, the sweet chin music, doing all that crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I was doing so much research because I wasn't old enough to know about, like, previous history of, the WWE. But then I remember doing some research and seeing like what DX was and like all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember when I remember it so clearly.
When they came back.
When they made the comeback, when like
it was epic.
like him and Triple H were like in each other's face, and they were like, "Come on, what? You want to bring him back?" And I was like, what's about to happen?
Yeah.
What's about to happen? And then they did the DX thing.
Suck
yeah,
it, bro.
the suck it, dude.
Triple H would get up on the turnbuckle and just
and then I remember going to a live show. I think I went to
for real, bro?
Yeah, I went to a couple live shows actually.
I never got to go to one.
Shout out to my brother Steven for always hooking it up with tickets. But I remember showing up and I had a DX sign and I was like waving it in the air and I was like, DX, come on, like come out. And they came out and they did.
Did you buy the sign or make it?
I made the sign.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, I was all about it. Like when they told me I was going to a WWE show, I was like, all right, Dad, check it out. Here's the list. I need markers. I need green markers. I need all that stuff. And they did the suck it, and like the green streamers came out,
bro,
dude.
And every time they get in the ring and do the suck it, the fucking fireworks go off,
dude.
Bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro. All right, hit or miss. The Miz,
dude, he's a fucking miss, bro.
Yeah, dude, he's a big miss in my book.
Dude.
I hated the Miz.
Oh my god,
I hated his attitude. Like that guy,
he came in like the WWE owed him something, and all he did was get his ass beat nonstop.
Oh yeah,
and finally, like right now, as we speak, he's a champion, I believe.
He might be. I don't even know if he's still. Is he still like currently in the WWE?
Yeah, he's got like a posse right now, dude.
That guy's whack.
He does like I forget what they call it, but it's like a show, like the Miz show. You remember?
Oh
when
yeah,
Christian,
he has like a reality.
Remember when Christian used to do the peep show, like on stage?
Yeah.
Freaking the Miz does that now, but I forget what he calls it.
All right, hit or miss. Chris, the Masterpiece Masters.
Brother, Chris Masters. I know he was a villain, bro. Like I believe he was a villain.
Oh yeah, hands down. I can name at least 20 people I've put in the Master Lock.
Look, that man for me though was a hit. But dude, do you remember the time the Master Lock challenge and Bobby Lashley broke it, dude? Dude, that was epic.
Dude, and he did it by flexing.
Yeah,
that was the most legendary.
I always used to love watching Masters because of how buff he was. Like I loved his entrance.
Oh yeah, dude, he was an awesome bodybuilder.
But I liked Bobby Lashley more. And when he broke it, I was so happy.
Yeah, dude, I remember him sitting down in the chair and he was like about to pass out and he was like holding his hand in the air and the people started cheering and they were like, I was like, oh
and
no.
all he did was just slammed his arms down and busted
dude,
it,
he
bro.
was a beast, bro. I remember that just like perfectly. All right, hit or miss. Hornswoggle. Do you remember that?
Yes, dude. Hornswoggle. Okay, so he's a big time miss for me, but he was funny, bro. Like dude, when he would come out with Finley's like little stick, and he would always hit people over the head, or he would throw the thing.
Oh, his shillelagh, bro.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Finley was so dirty. That's what ruined Hornswoggle.
Yeah, dude. Finland, I didn't like Finland, and he was like Hornswoggle was like his little minion. And like he would do all that crazy stuff. I remember at Saturday Night Live, which was one of the shows I was at, he like hopped out from underneath the ring.
Yeah.
And like crawled out and like was doing all this dirty stuff. Yeah. And I was like, dude, what the hell's going on right now?
Dude, I don't know if you saw that episode. I believe it was Raw, but I could be wrong. They came out as a joke and said that Hornswoggle was Mr. McMahon's son, yeah. And like McMahon's character like was just shocked, like believed it, you know what I mean? Played it off as that, and like the WWE universe thought it was true. It was hilarious. Obviously it's not true, but it was hilarious, dude.
I do remember that. That was actually a really, really funny one.
It was good.
Yeah, that's what actually I really did appreciate all that stuff, dude. I mean, like I said, that stuff was a huge part of my childhood. And if you're listening to this and there's any superstars, WWE superstars that we missed or that we didn't cover down on, or, like the video, comment, subscribe, tell us which ones we missed, tell us which ones you like the most, and then we'll cover down on it. I mean, dude, I could talk about the WWE all day. Yeah, one thing I'd actually like to talk about since we're going to wrap this up is one thing we always cover down at the very end of a podcast. Now, I know we've kind of talked about it, touched base with it a little bit here on the podcast on this episode so far, but the National Suicide Prevention Line, you can find that at 1-800-273-8255, And also press 1 if you're a veteran and you can find help for stuff like that. Anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. I mean, it is definitely not one thing that we take lightly. It's one thing that we've had to deal with and see in our daily lives, and it's all had an effect on somebody in some way. So if you're ever feeling down, feeling like there's nobody you could really talk to, you don't feel comfortable talking to certain people around you, you can always call this line or reach out to me, reach out to the other host, Anson Baker, or you can reach out to Nick himself, and we can definitely like have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason that it should escalate to what it is. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Once again, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. Press 1 for veterans help, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.com and then talk to somebody there. Other than that, though, you can find the podcast on Instagram at Side Conversations Podcast. Find us on Twitter at SideConvo. You can find me on Instagram at Kevin Ray Deanda, and you can find me on Twitter at Kevin Ray Deanda. You can email us at sideconversationspodcast@gmail.com. Nick, where can they find you?
Y'all can find me on Instagram at campbell.nick. You can find me on Facebook at Nick Campbell.
Oh, yeah. Also, Facebook. We just set up a Facebook account, and you can find us at Side Conversations Podcast. It's pretty much the same thing. Also, Patreon. If you're interested in donating to the Patreon, getting hooked up, we got 3 different tiers. Find us at patreon.com/sideconversationspodcast. More than willing to hook you guys up with questions that you want us to answer, personalized videos, shout-outs. We'll promote you. And we just set up a new tier. It's a $50 tier, which is totally insane. But it pretty much is called Boss. You can tell us whatever you want us to do on the show, and we'll do it. If you want to talk about something, throw it out there. We'll do it. Limit 1 per customer per month, but we'll hook it up for you. Except for smoking crack. I will not smoke crack on the show. That is a no-go. It's also in the description, though. Other than that, Nick, thank you for coming out and talking. I've totally enjoyed this. I haven't talked about the W. I feel like a child. Yeah. I think I'm going to go back home and suplex everybody I see. Other than that, thank you so much for listening. Appreciate you guys, and have a great day.